Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Momo here, as it will always be. And today we're accompanied by my kitten. This is Alpha, my outdoor baby. So if you hear any mewing or meowing, that's him probably crying at me for attention, so I apologize for that. But in today's video, we're going to be talking about the holiday, the Sabbat Mabon, as it is coming up quite soon. Usually Mabon is celebrated as the fall equinox, which is generally here in the Northern Hemisphere September 20th or 21st. However, Mabon is a bit of a special holiday, which I'll get into later, as it can be celebrated over the span of quite a few days. So no need to really worry about it coming and going and sneaking up on you. An equinox happens when the Earth's equator passes the center of the sun. And so this happens twice a year. It happens once in the spring and once in the fall. In the Northern Hemisphere, in September, this halves the time of sunlight that we get. So this obviously takes a huge toll in the planting and the growing of plants, and that's why they all start to die, is they have less sun exposure, and things start to get cold. It's hard to grow in cold soils, so that's why it starts to happen around that time of year. Depending on where you are on the planet, because we're a great big ball, this it kind of affects, not everybody gets snow, not everybody gets lots of rain. So because of this kind of crazy factor, we celebrate Mabon, like I was saying at the very beginning of the video. You can celebrate it, it could be weeks, it could be months. Harvesting takes a really long time as well. It's not a one singular day process that also can take weeks and even months to completely harvest all that you may have grown. So because of that, Mabon is a very flexible holiday. So though the equinox itself is coming up, even that day can vary depending on where you are on the planet. So there's that. Kind of makes it a little harder to celebrate because you don't even know when. But that's one of the cooler things about witchcraft, is that you can choose. You can say, okay, today feels like fall, today feels like a good day to celebrate. A lot of times they didn't celebrate on the same day. The calendar system wasn't really a thing yet, so they didn't really say, okay, on the 20th of September. It was more like okay, today's a great day to harvest. If we're starting to lose daylight, they could track the daylight and say, okay, we need to start doing this because we're losing light. And with that came, of course, visibility. They started to lose availability to see and working hours, so they had to do things kind of by the sun. It is a holiday for the harvest. It's also a holiday for sacrifice and for survival, because not only are you harvesting all the food that you got from the year, you are also saving it for the long winter that's coming, for you won't be getting any new crops throughout the winter. So it comes with a lot of decisions, it comes with a lot of choices. What do we eat now? What do we save for later? And how do we save said food for later? In the case of Mabon, the autumn equinox happens when the sun enters the sign of Libra. And Libra is represented by the scale. Because of this, it's pretty uniquely appropriate. It's a sign that represents level-headed balance and decision making. So, careful judgment is the most necessary to have when you're preparing for a rougher season. Like I was saying earlier, the harvest requires decision making. You have to choose, what to keep, what to eat, what to leave to decay and rot, what bulbs to plant, to wait until they sprout in the spring, things like that. So there's a lot of decision making. So if you're having something that you need to, you're being indecisive about now, Mabon's a good time to reflect on all those things that you may need to be reflecting on. So now I'm going to move on to suggested activities, and these are just things that are relatively easy to do. I feel like they don't require very much. Are you being cute? You're being a cutie. Cats are so distracting, man. But so again, these are just things that you could do. You don't really need anything, and I'll explain them a little more as I go on. So the first one is quite simple. It's just preparing for winter. So you can do this in any way you see fit depending on where you are, whether that's getting new clothes and starting to, or switching your closet around, getting all the colder weather things out. If you're still in a place where it's quite warm, you might not need to do this for another couple weeks. So there, again, this really depends on where you are, but just preparing for what winter is for your region is a good start to Mabon. Mabon's a good time for negotiation. So if you have something, again, kind of like the indecisiveness, if you have decisions to make, if you have people to talk to, things to do, now is a good time to kind of jump into action. This is a good one to kind of get into our roots, is you can pickle, freeze, dry, start to preserve foods that you may have, even though you might not need to. You might not live in a place where food is not readily available. A lot of us, again, are very lucky to live in places with grocery stores, convenience stores, all kinds of stores. Food is everywhere, restaurants, fast food. So we don't really have to worry about it so much, but it's still a cool activity to do, any of those. This one's very easy, and it really doesn't matter where you are, city, country, somewhere in between. Going outside is a great way to celebrate just about any of the holidays, because really it's about the seasons. They're about the turning of the year and the changing of the season and everything. So going outside is a great way to celebrate, whether it's sitting outside like I am right now with Alpha, or whether it's going on a nice walk or hike. It's a great way to celebrate the changing, and by that time hopefully some of the leaves will start to change, but we'll see. I don't know. Maryland is kind of weird about seasons, so we'll see how she feels then. This one I really enjoy, and I really want to personally do this year, is to watch either the sunrise or the sunset, or both if you're feeling ambitious, but that would be a long day. But watching the sunrise and the sunset's a big part of Mabon, because again, we're starting to lose sunlight around this time. So it's good to go out and really cherish the last bits of sunlight that you get and see the beauty of the last couple summer sunrises and sunsets. You can honor the harvest moon, which is the full moon in September. And this moon is pretty cool because it has quite a few different names. Some refer to it as the harvest moon. Some refer to it as the hunter's moon. The Scottish refer to it as the, I believe, the badger's yellow moon, because this is around the time when you'll see lots of animals preparing themselves for winter. So you can take whichever one of those you really connect with and make your own little ritual for the moon. You can host a barbecue or a feast or a potluck. Getting together with people and enjoying food that we have is a big part of this time of year. I feel like I don't really need to explain this one, but going apple picking is a big tradition for Mabon. Of course, this is a harvest season, so going harvesting and picking apples, which are in season at this point, is a great way to celebrate Mabon. If you're of age, you can go to wine and beer tastings. This is kind of something that falls into the categories of most of the holidays. Again, with most celebrations comes alcohol. I don't usually partake in these because my tummy is not the happiest with alcohol. But if you're of age and you think that'd be fun, it's a great excuse. Just be safe, of course. You can build a bonfire. This is, again, another one that tends to come with some of the holidays. Other holidays are more about little fires, but a lot of them are about big ones. So here's another excuse to get your fire on. And again, please just be safe if you choose to partake in this activity. You can go dancing or host your own dance. Again, with celebration comes happiness and dancing and music and all that fun stuff. It's a great way to celebrate and to get close with others and just, really feel yourself. So you can either, go to a club, you can host your own dance, whatever you see fit in your situation. This one is probably my favorite because I am an equestrian and I work with horses on the daily anyway. But visiting horses is a good tradition around this time of year. And this one's really sweet because it actually gives back. If you find a place around you that supports this, a good charity is making a harvest basket. So it's essentially a food basket full of perishable or non-perishable items and, hygienic stuff, maybe even socks or coloring books, stuff like that, and giving it to a shelter. They call it a harvest basket. And so just collecting a bunch of things to give back to the community, to those who are less fortunate than you might be, is always a wonderful thing to do any time of year, but especially now when it's starting to get cold. It's great to look out for others as well as yourself if you're lucky enough. So those were some really easy suggested activities that I figured you guys might be able to sneak in on or around Mabon. Again, it's a very kind of vast time of celebration, but I'm gonna let you guys in on what I do now and what I kind of plan to do this year. Keyword plan. We'll see how well it goes. Ooh. So what I usually do is I usually go through this book. Hi, baby. And I list crafts, recipes, spells, prayers, whatever that I want to try to get done. And I list them in here. And then the sticky notes are the things that I need to get for said things. Usually physical items that I might need to prepare or make sure I have. For Mabon 2019, what I would like to do, of course, see horses, as always. I want to watch the sunset, and I want to do that sunset chant. I want to do a spell for the bees. I want to do Mabon tarot spread. I want to make Mabon essential oil, and I have a little note here saying to make it early because it needs time to kind of infuse. I want to make Mabon dry incense. I want to make apple candle holders. I want to do some prayers from the Mabon book that I either highlighted or starred. I want to do a ritual from the Mabon book. I want to make a autumn equinox crystal cornucopia. And I want to do a green witchcraft ritual. Now I know that sounds like a lot, but again, I'm probably not going to do this all in one day, but that's what I'll be trying to do for Mabon. And those are just some, ideas for you guys. There are things to do kind of if you're a quiet witch and you need to stay on the down low. There are simple ways for you to celebrate in peace and quiet. And then for those who are free to practice and you've got the freedom kind of like I do, you have some ideas for bigger things to do. As always, I'm more than happy to answer any questions you might have that have sparked up either in the comments section below, and I also have a Instagram and a Tumblr account that are quite active when it comes to this witchy stuff, so I'll make sure to leave a link to them as well. Well, we hope you all enjoyed the video and we hope you guys got some ideas for what you might want to do for Mabon, if you want to do anything for Mabon. Regardless, I hope you guys all stay safe and have happy crafting, and stay blessed. Say bye, Alpha Bean. Until next time. What a sweet baby. Cutest cat. Cutest cat. Bye, guys.